Mr. Mielberg, thank you for agreeing to do this interview. I understand that you prefer to lead an aesthetic life close from the public, of a modest scientist-entrepreneur. However, I also see that you are a fan of the practical implementation of the mathematical theoretical results that you've achieved in recent years. Here are some of them, in my opinion, the most intriguing and to some extent mysterious for me personally. Sense theory, mathematical sense or semantic theory for artificial intelligence. P-S standard, a simple standard for writing complex research in science and technology articles. Neuromorphic function, universal function of approximation of physical phenomena. Neuromorphic cryptographic algorithm, NACA, cryptographic algorithm that does not use private keys. Sense chain, a new sense-to-sense decentralized internet. Hematological preventative method, HPM, method of diagnosing diseases before the onset of first symptoms. And my first question is, what is sense theory?
Thank you very much. Actually, thanks for the long list of my works, but that's actually not all. Sense theory is a new mathematics, more precisely mathematics, the main object of study of which is meaning. I call it the sense, not a number, as a customary in traditional mathematics. That's why I call the new mathematics sense mathematics. Semantic mathematics, like traditional mathematics, includes such section as sense derivative, sense antiderivative, or sense integral, sense limit, and sense series. And of course, the basis of all the sense mathematics, sense space.
To be honest, it is difficult for me, even by ear, to understand what, for example, a semantic or sense derivative is. It's like saying what a semantic cosmos is, or, for example, what a semantic dish is. That is, you operate with such names that combine completely different areas of knowledge, and I want to note that this is no less intriguing. So, what is sense derivative, and why not just call it derivative?
Yes, actually, good question. Sense theory includes knowledge of several sciences at the same time. There are systems, biotechnology, linguistics, combinatorics, thermodynamics, and of course, some part of traditional mathematics. From a school mathematics course, you may remember that the derivative in traditional mathematics reflects the change in a certain numerical function over time. I repeat, the numerical function, or as mathematicians call scalar. So if you take, for example, an airplane as a numerical function that determines the coordinates in space, which flies at a speed of, say, 600 miles per hour, then the time derivative of this function will determine the position of the airplane in the space after a certain period of time. The semantic derivative works almost the same, only it determines the meaning of the function, not the numerical result, which has changed or not changed after a certain period of time. For example, if our semantic function describes, say, the action of a person, the main purpose of which is to buy, say, food in a store, then when adding human action for a certain time, the main goal may change or remain the same, the purchase of food. So the sense or the meaning is the main purpose.
Okay, now it becomes more clear. That is, if I'm going to go to a cafe and buy a cup of coffee, the meaning of my actions is a cup of coffee. But if I change my mind on the way to the cafe and went, say, to a fast food and bought a cheeseburger, then my meaning is changed, right?
Yes, that's right. This is how the semantic derivative works. Moreover, if after fast food you still decide to stop by a cafe and buy a cup of coffee, then your meaning will remain the same, a cup of coffee. That's your semantic derivative becomes constant in this period of time.
It's so simple, but at the same time incredibly difficult to understand on my own for the average mediocre person that I am. Thank you. Everything became much clearer. However, here the question immediately arises. Why can't traditional mathematics, which has hundreds of years of development and improvement, be used to solve problems in the field of artificial intelligence?
In many problems, the purpose of which is, for example, to obtain a numerical value of the distribution of of a sample of physical or chemical parameters in nature, the methods of traditional mathematics successfully coped with such problems. However, as soon as you start talking about tasks, for example, determine the meaning in a person's behavior or in his actions, then no mathematical methods or traditional mathematics provide appropriate tools for identifying and no less important, tracking the constancy in the meaning of a particular person's actions.
Well, please tell me. Sense theory and its algorithms are able to track the train of thought of an individual by his behavior? Or, as you said earlier, by the actions of an individual?
I do not actually rule out such a possibility if there is an access to the digital profile of an individual. However, I want to know that when creating sense theory, I did not have the task of creating a mathematical base for spying on people. The main goal of sense theory is the creation of technological instruments for designing self-learning and self-adapting to external conditions artificial intelligence.
This sounds very ambitious and global. Okay, let's move on to your technological research. Hematological Preventative Method, HPM, based on sense theory algorithms. What is the main task of this method?
The main task of the hematological preventive method, as well as probably many mathematical models in biology, genetics, physics, and other natural sciences, is to describe and predict the behavior of the considered organic living system. Qualitatively, new mechanisms for the analysis of blood cells and blood plasma proteins may open up the possibility of constructing a hematological data model, HDM, for early detection of a pathological process during the latent period of the disease. As such mechanisms, we use the algorithms of sense theory in new mathematics for artificial intelligence. And at the current time, of the main types of medical diagnosis formed by the method of their construction, which are often used in practice, two can be distinguished. A diagnosis for the therapeutic effect and a diagnosis for the result of the harmful effect of prescribed medications. Most of these types of diagnostics are extremely dangerous and lead to the negative consequences for human health. While such, the most high-quality types of diagnostics, such as, differential or synthetic diagnosis, are less and less encountered in practice by the attendant physicians. This is primarily due to the large amount of information that the practitioner must know and clearly and quickly operate on it already or with the patient's initial anamnesis.
Why blood? Why was blood chosen as the main object of the practical implementation of your method, HPM?
Okay, the answer is quite simple. There are several systems in the human body. Muscular system, uh, endocrine endocrine system, respiratory system, circulatory or blood system, nervous system, and others. With the exception of the nervous system, which implements the innervation of all organs in the human body, the circulatory blood system is the only system through which nutrients, toxins, viruses, and drugs are delivered to specific areas of the human body. Thus, understanding the metabolic processes in the blood, as well as the specifics of the interaction of blood cells with external elements of various nature, for example, food, radiation, chemical effects on the body, we'll be able to reason more deeply and more accurately about the possibility of building truly high quality and preventive diagnostic methods for not only curable diseases at the earliest stages of their development, but also to find methods for the complete and rapid cure of such dangerous diseases as cancer, heart failure, Alzheimer, and Parkinson's diseases.
I know that your team has begun long-term research in the field of gerontology, namely the development of the elixir of youth, 250 years of youth. Wow! Do you think this is possible at all? Sounds like something incredible and unattainable. What do you say? Is it really possible?
The law of conservation of meaning. Yes, you heard right. The law of conservation of meaning, or the law of conservation of sense, says that this is possible, but in case of provided that the meaning of all individual systems of the human body remains constant over time. In simple words, as soon as we stabilize catabolism and anabolism within individual human systems and organs, that's the synthesis and breakdown of chemical compounds of individual molecules, mainly proteins, will be able to predict the further development of the human body in terms of its physical state. The main task of our team now is to describe in detail, without missing a single element, the work of a single human system at the molecular genetic level. In other words, to create many digital agents to be used in the creation of innovative drugs.
As I understand it, at the current moment in time, most of the drugs in the world only relieve the symptoms of the disease. They do not completely cure the disease, right?
You are absolutely right. The vast majority of even the most modern drugs have as their target the inhibition of certain intermediate chemical reactions inside the human body. The so-called synthesis of intermediate metabolites in order to eliminate the symptoms of headache, inflammation, and other external signs of any disease. Let me give you an example. It's like, for example, when you send the postman to your relatives with a letter with bad news, and some point in time, the postman meets an obstacle on his way and cannot deliver the letter to the addressee. In our case, relatives. In our case, the obstacle is a drug that still does not eliminate the presence of a letter with a bad news. This obstacle only artificially protects relatives from bad news. And in our lives, most people would rather not to know bad news at all. And I understand that.
To be honest, I'm at a loss and a little disappointed. No, I'm very disappointed. Okay, let's continue. Sense chain. From the above, I believe that it's some kind of chain or sequence of meanings, right?
Right. Sense chain is a chain of meanings interconnected according to a certain semantic rule. Details can be found in our technological article, sense chain, sense contracts, sense currency. The main goal of sense chain is the realization of semantic relationships between objects of different nature. The uniqueness of sense chain algorithms lies in the fact that the number of heterogeneous objects can be in the billions and trillions. Sense chain uses the sense theory paradigm in pursuit of meaning. This explains why we can use our own algorithms to solve a wide variety of problems in various fields of science and business. So, for example, unlike the well-known blockchain technology, which allows users to save any actions in time and guarantee the invariance of the stored data at any time, sense chain allows our users to find and save semantics between events and actions in time, and thus predict and prevent them in the future, as an example.
Is it a blockchain replacement? I mean, sense chain technology.
Not really. Sense chain is rather a new technological direction. This is a new technological niche of artificial intelligence algorithms. Sense chain is a new decentralized sense-to-sense internet that cannot be closed, stopped, prohibited, controlled for the sake of, for example, one's personal ambitions. Sense chain is a new digital world where there is no inflation, no corruption, and most importantly, no unemployment for all the people of our beautiful and lovely planet.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mielberg, for your time and very informative and interesting conversation. I am personally convinced that thanks to people like you, our world can change dramatically. I hope only for the better. Thank you.
Thank you for the interview and your, what's more important, lifetime. I'm very valuable and respected. We hope that our modest work, team's work, will help other researchers in their life endeavors. Thank you.